we were talking about last week about the sacred union. Now, I was just reading yesterday on the news that there's been, this is only in Malaysia, there's been a lot of divorce, usually more than what it normally is. So the question is this: why? I mean, this is the time when a couple can be together. Immediately of the problems. I mean, maybe they're not earning enough money, there's a lot of financial stress, but it's time to be together. So if you're a couple, then you should enjoy living and spending the time getting to know each other. Now, the question here is, why isn't it so? Why is this stress in a marriage that happens when two people who are supposed to be in love are together? I mean, you're meant to find strength in a relationship. And if there is financial stress, then the strength itself allows you to go through the stress. But what happened here is this: they end up divorcing each other or applying to divorce, which means in the first place, do they really love each other? Then we always question, is this, what is this love? Sacred union is only when there is a sacred union between two people, that is two spirits becoming one, then any amount, even if they're going to be in the street begging, they will still feel that togetherness. Now, this is a common problem, which is not common problem in today's world. When people spend too much time talking rather than feeling, they talk about their differences. They talk about what they have to do. They talk about the negative discussions. So basically, what happens is, then when you're trying to, okay, whatever your qualification is, being intelligent is not about how well you've done in your education or how well you can do a particular job, because most people these days, they are more geared into one aspect. They learn to memorize things, they learn to pass exams, they learn how to get a job, and they try to live within that framework. So the essence of feeling the divinity within is not there. Now, when we talk about divinity within, first, we have to remember that we are goddesses on earth. So that is the divinity that we have. We are divine because we are born in the image of the god or goddess. And within our body, those who know a bit of Tantra or know a bit about Shiva, you'll find that the moon is on his left eye is the moon and the right eye is the sun. And those who know about sexuality, the real sexuality, not about sex, you will find that the Shiva Shakti is within you. So now, if Shiva and Shakti is within you, so what is it inside of you that is wrong that makes you lose that focus on trying to feel that energy, live within the framework of the energy, instead of sitting down and having discussions, talking? I was just talking to one of my students today that when you have dinner, you don't talk, you eat. A lot of people create a lot of stressful conversation over a dinner table. This is a cultural thing. In basic tantric tradition and Hindu tradition, for centuries has been that way. That we respect food and we focus on eating, we focus on chewing the food, we focus on so that you slaverize everything you put in your mouth and it goes in. That's itself is an art. It takes art, patience, but no, everybody is busy talking. So when you talk and eat, you're not actually digesting your food. You're not chewing your food properly. You're not salivarizing your food properly, and you're putting it in. So what happens is that when your digestive system is affected, your emotions are also affected. So basically, your discussion goes into a very emotional area. It's not about just relaxing and being together. I've been in the food industry in my early days, and that's what happens in a lot of times when people are going out to dinner. Sometimes you find they're not talking to each other, or when they're talking, they're not in a nice mood, or they come together in a big group and enjoy themselves in their drinking, in that the friends are together. But in all of that, real process of eating is missing. So when the process of eating is missing, you are missing out in one of the basic things that you do. Then you don't digest your food properly. You get emotional because the energy in your digestive system, then there's a lot of gas in your system, and then eventually the emotions becomes a lot more difficult to manage, and then your hormones kicks in as well. So you have this whole culmination of things that happen that destroys you. First thing is just ask yourself when you buy a dining table, why you're buying a dining table. It's to dine. It's to be together with the family and dine and find peace within the family, not to have war. So principally, there's something wrong with the way our society is living. There's principally wrong in the way that we connect with another soul. That union that we make with somebody else, is it real union? Is it the union of souls? Or is it a union of need? Okay, when you need someone, you put pressure on them because then it's not love. Because otherwise, you just hold each other's hands and you can feel the love. You can be connected, like for instance, if you're watching TV together, because everybody watches TV, you can sit at each end of the sofa, but having each leg on each other. So you find that you can either do foot massage for each other, or you can sit very close to each other holding hands and enjoying the movie, or one of you lying on the other person's lap. In that way, you don't have to talk, you have to feel. You get a moment that even though that you're watching TV, you're doing different things, that connection is there, that union is there, that feeling is there. Half the time the person who's lying down on the lap will not be watching the movie for long, because that is the secret of non-verbal communication. That is to be together and not verbalize, because you're not that intelligent. I have yet to meet a person who's intelligent in every level of life. There's always some place that we're not good enough. Even at 78, I'm still learning. If you're always learning, then don't talk too much. Unfortunately, I have to be talking here because I'm the only one talking and you're listening. But generally speaking, try not to talk too much. Kali, if you remember, even Kali goes to feeling. Desire is always there. If you find most of the mantras, okay, Kleem, when you have the word Kleem, it's karma, it's desire. So desire and feeling goes well together. Feeling, even to know Kali, you got to feel her. If you don't feel her within yourself, then you don't feel Kali. Okay, the Kleem mantra is for Kali, it's for Kamaraja, it's for water. And water is related to emotion. So a lot of mantras you have the Bija mantra Kleem, or you have the Bija mantra Hirim. Even when you do Kali mantra, you go Kareem, 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 Hirim, Hirim, Hum. So you have that. And the Bija mantra Kleem also goes to your base chakra or your second chakra. So in that way, your feeling is always connected to your spiritual journey. The thing is the feeling it's the greed that goes with feeling, that you desire to have something. If I do this to me, I'm feeling me. So feeling is always very important. Now, feeling and attachment is two different things. Attachment is when the feeling you're trying to do something for somebody else. Okay? When you attach that feeling that you're doing for someone else, then you attach to that someone else. But when you're doing the feeling, okay, feeling, touching, whatever, if you're feeling everything is for within you, then there is always that essence that the attachment is not there, because attachment comes when you need something. Here, you don't need anything because you are everything. That feeling that you have is about you, your expression, your being, your inner divinity. Everything is Maya, but Maya is also that feeling. So that is why in Tantra, desire is something that you use desire. Eventually, all becomes nothingness. But we don't talk about nothingness until we get to the stage of feeling. Until we come to that level when that feeling becomes nothingness. So you use feeling, you use desire to overcome that desire. When you are united within yourself, if male and female is united within yourself, then you go beyond all these feelings. But first you need to learn how to go beyond all of this. So how do we go beyond this? That's the most important question. Now, we can sit down and do a lot of studies, okay? We can do a lot of research. We can study about God, know about the cosmos, know about the stars, know everything. But the bottom line is this: do we know what makes us click? Now, to make us understand what makes us click, we have to do, like for instance, when I do I want to feel the frequency of the sound. In feeling the frequency of the sound, I know which distance it goes. If I go to and sense that I don't want to feel, I just want to do mantras, then you can be doing mantras for a long time without knowing what it's doing. So feeling is absolutely important. Now the question of no mind, and it's the mind is always there. Every cell in your body has a mind. Mind is not just the brain. It's your brains that goes bananas. That you want to have it under control. Not actually under control. You want to calm it down so that it doesn't make too much noise. But as far as the mind is concerned, every cell has a mind. You know, when you have an emotional reaction for certain word or deed, everything, a lot of time that comes from within your cells in your body, not your brains. Your brain is only interprets that feeling that comes out of your cells. The storyline, the picture is from the cells, not from the mind interprets the picture. The same thing when you talk about Kali, okay? It's the cream is the basis of Kali. The bija sound is what creates the character. So cream has a meaning without meaning. The sound creates a certain feeling. And for that feeling, we give a picture, an image of Kali. Because if you look at different sages or different artists paint Kali in a different way. The statue that I have in India is different. And every time we repaint it, I said, no, I want her in this way. So I can make the artist make her face look very fierce, or I can make the artist make her face look very soft and beautiful. The reason why? Because within me, that's what I feel about her. So in everything, feeling is important, but not an intellectual brain thinking feeling. When the brain interprets the feeling, that's when the trouble comes. But the feeling has always got to be there. And this is where we have to start learning. There's a big difference between I love my wife. I love my wife. So it's not that she is loved because of her. It's because I love her. So when she doesn't want to be my wife anymore, I dislike her. Isn't that crazy? When you love someone, there's no question of whether they want to be with you, or they want to give you anything, or they don't want to give you anything. That your joy in loving them and giving them and serving them is the only important feature, because it's all about you expressing yourself. That's why when I used to cook, I used to enjoy cooking because I express my love through cooking. And when people eat the food, they can feel that love. I had used to have a lot of people that came and said, it's funny, when I come to your restaurant, I eat very little and I feel very full. Whereas a lot of other places, they need to eat a lot to feel that same energy. It is the energy that you put out, what you feel about it. Now it's an English word. In Tamil and all that, it's a bit different. Different words are used in different ways. So let us learn to love. So we can't blame the coronavirus and being locked down and being home as the reason for us to divorce. That love is always there, whether you are stuck. I mean, I've been stuck in this house for 2 years now. One, because basically I choose not to go out because I don't like the idea that I have to go everywhere I have to go. I have to line up, I have to wait. And somehow in Malaysia, at least, a lot of people don't understand social distancing. They virtually come to your back, sit nearly close to you. And the other day we went to the immigration department. They had all these lines made for social distancing, but everybody was standing near the officer very close, and the officer didn't even tell them, can you go and stand according to the line? Because that is not part of that belief system. For them, being close to each other is more important than the social distancing. So it's another thing. It's a mechanism in the brain, how we decide. But when you're with your wife and children, you don't social distance just because you're stuck at home, but you make sure you don't go out and bring it back to home, the virus. So so for me, I think the coronavirus was a good thing in a way. It makes a lot of people learn who they are. They had enough time to find out who they are, what their limits are, and whether they actually love themselves. Now, if you love yourself, then you can love somebody else. But if you don't love yourself, you can never love somebody else. As I always say to everyone, don't look at the shopping list that you create about the other person. Create your own shopping list. What can I offer to a relationship? What makes you happy? What makes me happy offering certain things. So when I look at a partner, I look at someone who would accept my offerings, and what the other person wants to offer is their own business. Okay, is what they receive. If they know how to receive, they would enjoy being with me. If they don't know how to receive, my bad luck and their bad luck. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop loving them and being nice to them. It's just that the dance won't be as powerful as it could be, because the bottom line, I'm responsible for my happiness. I'm responsible for the love I want to share. It's not a tap. It cannot be turned on and turned off. So we have to register the factor. That is why in the Indian system, we have Vedic astrology. Even then, a lot of Indian families don't follow it exactly to the rule. And then they blame, oh, we did our Vedic chart and it still didn't work out. Yeah, because if you look at some of the features, but then you don't look at whether which planet rules you, which planet rules your partner, and what are the conflicts that can come up in this. They don't put a lot of emphasis on that one. They look at the emotional lifelong, whether they're going to live very long together. But Vedic astrology, when you follow it exactly to that, you get all the 36 points, or at least most of the 36 points, but most of all the communication points, whether two people can communicate without words, or whether they need to argue, whether they need a lot of words to express themselves. When you need a lot of words to express yourself, then you're in trouble. So I would always advise everybody that wants to do counseling work, because some of you that are joining me every Saturday also work in the counseling work, where you're sharing, where you're helping others to feel. You should learn Vedic astrology, not as Western, but Vedic, because Vedic astrology emphasizes a lot on the moon. That's your emotion, that is your feeling, that's your being, and then only the ascendant, and then the sun. So when you combine all this understanding, then you find that you can help everybody else that you're sharing knowledge with how to feel right. Now, the question is this: I do offer online teaching, or I do offer online counseling with Zoom, okay? But that you have to make an appointment, and before that, email me, tell me what you want, where we're going about, what we want, and then I'll tell you whether you can either do. I do two things, because this is answering your question. I teach online, which is 6 sessions over 6 weeks, and each session is 1.5 hours. That's the most economical way of, because having a conversation is one thing, learning is another thing. But if you want to have a conversation with me only for an hour, one-off conversation, it costs 135 US per hour. Okay, then I also teach people, if they come to Malaysia, for 30 days, where you learn how to do Agni Homa. But what is most important is this: I actually invoke all the sounds into your body rather than you doing it, which makes your journey a lot easier. It's what I call the art of making love. When I talk about art of making love, I'm talking about two subtle bodies, two spirits talking to each other. It's not about sex. It's not about the normal love that we talk about. So that Tantra is a very unique subject. It can take care of every essence of your life. But remember, you got to remember that you got to decide on the journey. It's not a thing that you do it in 1 week or 6 weeks, and then you find that you're already on the path. I mean, I've been spending the last 3 weeks with a new student of mine, a couple, only talking, before we can even start doing mantras, because the thing about doing mantras is this: you activate whatever is within your body. Now, when you want to activate Kali, you can activate Kali with the energy, with her sound. But if you don't also learn the simple rules of life, and you're still busy, your head is still very busy, and there's still a lot of emotional memories in your body at the cellular level, then you find that you need to take this as a path if you want to go beyond that. Like some of my students, they've been with me for 2-3 years now, and still a lot for them to. It is not about me teaching you. It's about you experiencing certain things and me giving you another solution. The exploration is yours. I'm not going to spoon feed anyone. You have to explore the journey. I'm only here to question what you're doing and how to look at it in a different way. Same thing with what we're talking about, union of the soul. souls, the union of two souls. It's something which is very natural, yet we have lost that natural essence because we put our ego beyond the union. And you can't make someone change that thinking. If they are going to be stubborn in their head, you can't do anything. It doesn't matter whether you have the best chart in your blueprint was perfect. Just one planet, say Mars or Saturn or Ragu, one planet can change that if your ego gets into play. And then even a saint can be a villain. So the ego is a very funny thing. It sort of takes over, and I've known a lot of Deva Brahmins that the highest, they've worked very hard in their past life to become a Deva Brahmin. And having been given that choice, they still are in trouble. So there's a big essence in life. I mean, the opportunities to learn and to be divine and happy is absolutely possible. It's not easy, but you can enjoy all the way. Each time your enjoyment is better. And then each time you find that the level that your emotional self react with you is less. In the beginning, it'll be a lot of real turmoil because you're releasing them. Then you go into the deeper root ones, and then the deeper layers and layers. You clean layer by layer until you meet your spirit. And when you meet your spirit, then there's nothing to talk about. Then everything goes beyond words, beyond feeling, beyond attachment, beyond Maya. But first, you need all of it. You need to be part of everything, and you need to learn how to go beyond it. Just going beyond it. Just feeling that fine tuning yourself. Fine tune each time. So you need to also commit yourself for not 10 minutes here and 15 minutes. A lot of times when people say, can I spend, if 15 minutes, a day is enough? No, I would say minimum 2 hours. For those who really want to change, minimum 2 hours. If you're not ready to change, 15 minutes, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just starting each time, each day you're just starting. Imagine the amount of layers. It's not your fault that you have created a lot of layers of clouds around your every chakra. That's what the 20th century is all about. That's what is happening to us. So you can't blame yourself. You can't blame your parents because they don't know how to take care of you when they're supposed to be caretakers. No, nobody's fault. The intentions are all beautiful. Like I had another student who said, I get angry with my parents every time. So I asked them, do your parents love you? He said, yeah, they give me everything I need, but I'm angry with them. The only reason he's angry with them is he hasn't got that, that nice saying in Hinduism and Tantra is Mata, Pida, Guru, and then Deva. Mother is your first Guru, Father is your second Guru, and a person like me is a third Guru, and then only God. If you bypass your father and mother and hope to go to a Guru and find God, you'll never do it. So you got to resolve your issue with your parents. You got to learn gratitude. You got to learn love. You got to learn how to love them. Immediate of anything. You won't give up your parents because you can't give up your parents. You'll give up your wife or a husband, but you're always fighting with your parents. There's always a negative. There's always an issue. Now remember that you chose them. You came into their life. You created all the headache for them, and they don't know how to deal with you because they're not been trained. Like I always say, you want to drive a car, you need to go and learn driving tests, and you got to pass the test too. You want a job, you have to get a degree or a certificate or some qualification. Anything in life you want, you have to spend time getting it. But to have a baby, you don't even put so much emphasis on it. Hello? You don't put any emphasis on it. You take it for granted. And in modern days, they get married, they take birth control, and then they say, let us first get settled down. Let's buy a house. Let's do this, let's do that, and then have a child. And a lot of times, by the time, you can't have a child because something went wrong with the womb of the woman because her feeling that needing to be mother was not fulfilled. Okay, then when they want to have children, they can't have a child. And then when they want to have a child, they're always trying to, then the sexual act that they're having is to have a baby. So they become beggars. So the souls out there don't want to come to a beggar. They have already enough problem trying to come to earth, to a family that can actually nurture them to grow. And then even that is a problem. Imagine coming to a parent that's desperate to have them, who have probably a weaker womb than what it could be when they first got married. There's so many things. We are interconnected, the whole universe. So your parents gave you a passageway, and if you're born with all your parts functioning properly, you should be very, very grateful, because in this age, a lot of childs are born autistic, a lot of health problems. And if you don't have any of those, boy, you should worship their feet every day. That's what a lot of Hindus used to do in the early days. Now we try to put our hands on, these days the children want to put their hands over the parent and talk to them as though they're friends. No, no, no. Our parents are like God, goddesses to us. But we all did. I did as well. Taught my parents were a lot of things when I was young. Thank God for me. I realized it very fast. And then I learned to love them and enjoy them completely. So I didn't have to have that feeling that, I have something unsolved with them. I solved that when I was about 15, 16. But 17, I understood absolutely why and how my relationship with them is. So when you think in terms of starting this spiritual journey, learn one thing. You have to first deal with the first issue. You have to learn to worship your parent. Mother is the first guru. And for women who are here, who may think of having children, or who have daughters that are going to think of having children, be ready to be a mother. Motherhood is not about just having a child. So you say, I have a child, like every other woman. You hear a lot of women when they come to nearly 29, 30, they feel the pressure that they need to get married. And then they have the pressure of having children. They have the pressure of having a home. No, having a family, you don't need any of those. I've been a spiritual drifter for 47 years. In between, I've had 3 boys and 1 girl. And when I had my first son, I was still going, like traveling. I used to travel from state to state, spend 1 year in one state and then move on. Only when my 3rd son came by, then I decided, okay, now I need a bit more stability because I have a bit more responsibility. And never thought of having a house. Never invested money on a house until I went to India and built the temple and build my home there. But, even that mother moved me out of there again. So now I don't live there. I live in Malaysia. Where I'm paying rent again because I don't want even that. Having built the temple, built my home there, is an attachment to it. I have a responsibility towards that place. I have people maintaining it. I have to pay money because there's the temple there. If there's no temple there, I would have sold it long time ago. Because a lot of Indians are scared to buy a temple where there's a Kali statue, 6 foot tall Kali statue there. They say, no, if you can move the temple or you can keep the temple, we want the land. I said, no. If I sold the land and kept the temple will be useless because the whole village of Indian village will come right in front of the temple and they make a racket of noise. So remember always that you're here on a journey, and to fulfill the journey, you need the energy of Kali, Durga, the 10 wisdom goddesses actually, if you can focus on. And each of them have a character, and you have to learn how to invoke each of these characters. But the most important thing is this: you need Chinnamasta, first you need Ganesh, always. Then you need your inner gurus, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Jupiter, Dakshinamurti, and then you got to honor the outer guru. And then you have Kali. At least for me, it's Kali. Okay. So I find that very important. Kali, Matanji, and Kamlamika. Kali gets rid of all the negativity within me. The demons within me, she destroys. Matanji gives me the wisdom to live in harmony with the situations that I am put into, and not complain and moan and groan and find, misery out of it, but to find joy in it. Then I want Kamlamika because I want to feel inner prosperity. I want to feel rich, not rich with money. I've never been one for totally focus on money. I mean, you need to earn, and I keep my day in such a way that I work for a few hours. So I make sure that I have enough income to keep supporting me. I don't need to be rich. If I wanted to be rich, I would have taught different parts of Tantra. It's about living. For me, Tantra is about living. And I like to make sure that a lot of people get the simple truth about life rather than the complex essence of life. So then you have Matanji. And then you can add, if you want to balance your male and female within your own sexuality, and you want to unite your sexual energy to your third eye, then you need Chinnamasa. Okay? So even if you can do these 4 mantras, you're doing well. But the question is whether you do 4 mantras or 10 mantras, you still need that 2 hours of commitment. One go is perfect. If you can't, at least in 2 goes. And then when you go to sleep, you have to learn to say hello to the divine. And when you get up first thing in the morning, like when I go to sleep, I always do Ganesh, I do Kala Bhairava, I do Lord Shiva, I do what is this, Krishna, actually Vasudeva. Then I do Dakshinamurti, Kali, and I also do Dhanvantari, so that when I'm sleeping, my cells can repair itself better. So Dhanvantari is the doctor. His energy is to heal. That's when I'm going to sleep, in my mind, not loud. When I do it aloud, when I do it in a humming voice, I get too energized. Then I can't sleep. But when I do mentally, I go to sleep very fast and easy. Then when I get up, I spend a few minutes doing Mother Kali mantra before I get out for the day. This is only here and there. And then you need to do your practice again. So you basically, you keep improving every day. And whatever problems come into your life, you just say yes. You look at it, smile at it, and you keep going. Because you know you're on the right track. You know you're going ahead in life. And you got to remember this. Yes. Bija mantras also gives you youth, also makes you, it slows down. It's not anti-aging. It slows down your aging process. Gives you enough energy to keep going on this world. Okay, so it's good for everybody to go to an astrologer or go to extrastage.com, put your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth, and then click. And you got to also put longitude, latitude of where you're born. And then you click, and then you go and see what your nakshatra is at. Then those of you who are enrolled in the School of Hindu Tantra, I have very nice classical interpretation of all the different houses, how the planets and all the nakshatras. It's not like what you find commonly available. And there you will find what your character is. What are your strong points? What are your weak points? And how each time a planet moves house, how the nakshatra responds to that. Okay, basically it's based on your nakshatra. And that one you can't find it in Western astrology. Once you do this and you keep looking at your chart, you realize that Vedic gives you a better understanding of yourself. Now what? Okay, let me do Ganesh mantra again. Om Shri Harim Klim Glum Gan Ganapadaye Namaha Om Shri Harim Klim Glum Gan Ganapadaye Namaha Om. So when you do this mantra, make sure you feel it in your spine. Then I like to do Kali mantra. Om Kareem 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 Harim Harim Hum Dakshani Kalike Kareem 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 Harim Harim Hum Swaha Om Kareem 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 Harim Harim Hum Dakshanina Kalike Krim 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 Hrim Hrim Hum Hum Swaha Om Krim 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 Hrim Hrim Hum Hum Dakshanina Kalike Krim 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 Hrim Hrim Hum Hum Dakshani Kalike Krim 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 Hrim Hrim Hum Hum Swaha. The next is Matanji. I'm Hrim I'm Shrim Srimatangeshwari Swaha I'm Hrim I'm Shrim Srimatangeshwari Swaha Shrim Hrim Shrim I'm Kamalamika Swaha Shrim Hrim Shrim I'm Kamalamika Swaha Shrim Hrim Shrim I'm Kamlamika Swaha. If you can do these 4 mantras regularly, you find that your love life would be a lot better. And then you find that the union between you and your partner the bridge can be closer, shorter bridge rather than long bridge. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here. Vanakkam, and see you all next week again.